welcome back to a live stream on Simon Says. Really great to be live streaming with you here again today. Haven't done this for a while and woke up this morning. I thought it'd be a great idea to catch up with you guys again. Now, what we're going to talk about today is I'm going to have a little bit of a look at some of the questions that I've been getting on my videos from my viewers. And I really appreciate the feedback from you guys. So it's always great to hear what your questions are, what you've got to say, and then to be able to answer some of these questions. And while we're discussing this, anyone that's online today, please feel free, introduce yourselves, tell us where you're from, tell us what you're busy doing with your smart home at the moment. I'm assuming most of you have got Home Assistant, and that's why you're watching my live stream. But if you've got another system, let us know what it is you're using. Let us know what you're doing with home automation in your home. All right, so to kick things off, let's have a look at the first question that I've got up here, which has literally just been posted on one of my feeds here today on 1 hour ago. So this is with regards to, I just posted up a video earlier this morning, which was using the Yolink LoRa sensors. Now, these are some really long range sensors. It was actually in one of the streams that I did probably 3 or 4 months ago. Someone was talking about these Yolink sensors, and I placed an order for a set. I got some of these, the door sensors. That's what they look like. It came in a pack of 2 of these door sensors, and 2 door sensors plus the hub that comes with it. And these communicate using the LoRa, or the long range radio frequency protocol, very low data bit stream, so it can go a very long distance. And the reason that I ordered these ones is that I wanted to get them to work in my mailbox. I'm not too worried about the distance, because the property that I live on, I don't have massive distances to get to any of my sensors. But I did have this problem where I wanted to get a new mailbox, and all of the mailboxes pretty much that I could find are made out of metal. You do get timber ones, but I don't know, they don't seem to last very long. And also, the other thing is, with a mailbox, one of the issues with a mailbox and getting a sensor to work inside a mailbox is that you can't have a slot for the mail to go into, because if you've got a slot, basically how do you tell then that the postman's come and stuck the mail in there? So I wanted to get one with a little flap up piece that the postman had to lift the flap up before he could put the post in. So I found this metal one, and I then tested it out with a Zigbee sensor that I had, just one of these little third reality ones. And these work really, really great. I've just been playing with a whole lot of stuff from Third Reality. I don't know if any of you have played with Third Reality, but man, they've got some super cool locally controlled Zigbee sensors with AAA batteries inside of them. But unfortunately, the Zigbee just didn't want to get through the metal of my mailbox. So I decided to, awesome. We've got someone on the chat here. Wayne, thank you very much. You love my channel. I love having you as a listener. It's always awesome to have people commenting. Let us know where you're from, Wayne, and what it is that you're doing with home automation today. It'd be really great, and I really do appreciate all of you guys commenting in on these live streams. So anyway, I got a hold of these units from Yolink, and super easy to connect up. Man, I'd seen reports about them saying that they were really good, easy to use with Home Assistant, and whoever put that down, they were certainly not telling a lie. These things were so easy to get up and running, and within minutes I had them connected. It was a little bit of a fiddle getting it into my mailbox so that this could sit on the back of the flap and actually make sure that it triggered the sensor. But I got it to work, and man, these things have worked just amazingly well. Just penetrates that metal box, Faraday cage, just totally. Welcome, Mr. Super Sidewinder. I tried a tilt sensor, Zigbee, on my metal mailbox. No bueno. So it wouldn't work. Was it the same problem that I'm talking about where the signal wouldn't get through? Talking about tilt sensors, I don't know when's mine's gone, but I just tested out a tilt sensor from Third Reality as well recently. Great little concept, but it does have to move to the full vertical, this one. So it doesn't work just with a partial tilt. And I was worried that a partial tilt may not help. Wayne says, watching from Clarksville, Tennessee in the USA. I'm assuming TN is Tennessee. I'm from Auckland, New Zealand. I love the US, but I don't know the nicknames for all of your states. Awesome. Welcome, Wayne. Now, so anyway, so I put these sensors up. I just put a video up this morning showing these Yolink sensors. And I had a question here from Kevin B333. Thank you, Kevin, for your question. I want to use this, but my temperatures get to 115 degrees or higher. I can't imagine inside a metal box. Don't want to have the batteries explode. So I just went back to the Yolink site, and according to Yolink, the maximum temperature that these sensors can go up to is 50 degrees Celsius. So I'm not sure, I'm not too good on conversions of 115 over to centigrade, but I'm assuming 115 is pretty high. I would think it's pretty close to 50 degrees Celsius. So yeah, that may well be a problem. And yeah, it may be an issue that's not going to work. The only other way that I can imagine that you could do it is to have the sensor sitting outside of the mailbox and running a little two cables up to a reed switch inside the mailbox, and then just running the wires to the sensor on the underside perhaps of the mailbox might be a way to solve that problem. I'm not sure. Yes, RF can't get out of a metal box, exactly. But somehow with these guys, this sort of small data stream is able to get through that metal box, and it's working an absolute trick for me. So yeah, no, big shout out to Yolink. I'm very impressed with their products. The other cool things about these products is that they also, they show me the battery comes through via the integration, and they also show me the signal. I think it was at minus 95 dB, whereas the one that's sitting right next to me here on the desk is sitting at about minus 15 dB. So that still is certainly making quite a lot of restriction for that radio frequency from getting through, but it's getting through, seems to be stable and no problems. So yeah, that's a great little solution. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while now, and I have managed to get it working. So we've got a comment here from Donald Hodek 2889. This was just 4 hours ago. I have had a Zigbee door sensor in my mailbox for a few years now. Started with the same signal issue, but I took the sensor apart and soldered a 3-inch wire to the antenna port in the sensor, pulled it through the bottom of the mailbox, and have been receiving the signal from it ever since. Battery lasts for about 6 months. So yeah, there's a great option. We could take this one, for example. Let's have a look at this little Third Reality one. These are super simple, easy to open up little devices. And I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure how you would get, let's have a look if we get the batteries out of this one. Let's see if these batteries are going to come out. There we go. Batteries are coming out. So I can't see any screws inside of there. Not sure if any of you guys have dismantled these Third Reality sensors, but there must be somehow a way to get this apart. And if we could get it apart, we would then, that's pretty well stuck in there. Not sure how you would get this open. I don't want to break it, but there must be some way to get this out. And if we can, we should then be able to get to the actual antenna on this device and then put a bit of wire in. So yeah, I really like that idea, thinking outside of the box, and I might just try that out for interest's sake and see if I can get to find where that little antenna is so I can test it out, because I think that's a really cool idea. Great to be able to do that. I mean, these Yolink sensors, they weren't that expensive. I think it was around $50 for the kit with two of these and the actual hub. And yeah, well worth the bucks. I would definitely pay for these again. I did buy these with my own money, and I'm impressed with the purchase. Just to have a look at this device, the build quality in these is fantastic as well. It's got a little screw in the bottom here that you take off, and if you open that up, yeah, you can see the little Yolink. It's got that little spring antenna in there. All the LoRa's seem to have that spring antenna. And then we've got I'm not sure what that black little component is over there. I don't know if you can see it, but you've got the chip, whatever this chip is that Yolink's obviously made custom chips to operate their devices. I've done quite a lot of investigation into Yolink before I actually bought these, and everyone seems to be absolutely raving about these things. I have linked to a video from another YouTuber who actually put one of these up in a drone, and he sent it up, I think it was 400 or 500 meters away from the actual hub, and it was still communicating perfectly. So yeah, Yolink, I am certainly a fan of these devices, and I'm also a big fan of this LoRa protocol, and I will be playing more with LoRa. Another interesting device, don't know if anyone's played around with these little LilyGo 433 megahertz receivers. So this is both a LoRa and a 430 to 470 megahertz receiver. It's a little screen on the front there. Now, I have managed to integrate this. I loaded up some firmware onto this device. I got it running, and I was able to pull in signals from this device using MQTT, and those were pulling in. The tricky thing then was to actually, they weren't showing in my system as actual devices that I could control, because I did have I bought a 433 megahertz sensor. This is also a door sensor. I bought one of these, and I wanted to try hooking this up to this, but I sort of came unstuck partly way through it, because I wasn't able to, I was actually able to see it was transmitting the 433 megahertz signal from there to there, and then that was going through to Home Assistant. But there's a little bit of trickiness with 433 with actually trying to get that signal then into something that you can use in Home Assistant, and that's where I got a little bit unstuck. So I probably need to look into that a little bit further, because I'm sure there must be some cool usage for this guy. It'd be interesting now to plug it in and see what LoRa signals this is picking up as well. I'm not quite sure about the pairing with LoRa and picking the signals up, but yeah, that should be another interesting one. Great to have all of you guys in the live stream here today. If you've got any questions, fire away. Tell us where you're from, what you're doing today, and it's a holiday here in New Zealand. It's called Anzac Day today, so it's great to have the day off and be live streaming with you guys. So let's have a look at the next question. The next question comes from Kyra Churchill. This was posted 2 hours ago. And this is about, I don't know if any of you have seen, I did a video recently on the ePaper display from Siege Studio that they've just released. I'm really chuffed with this. I really like ePaper, and I think it's really cool. And the cool thing that I really like about this ePaper display is the fact that they've got this thing called Puppeteer. It's a Home Assistant add-on that's just been launched in Home Assistant. And what it does, it basically takes a screenshot of one of your dashboards and it converts it over into a PDF file. And that PDF can then be displayed on your ePaper screen. Now, the reason I really like this is that I have found that whenever it comes to displaying stuff on screens with ESP32 or ESP Home, it becomes quite difficult. And if you're not a coder, it's just way over just my level of pasting and copying and pasting of codes. So I really like this Puppeteer add-on because it just pulls every 30 seconds or whatever, it takes a new snapshot and posts this up and then posts it on the ePaper. The problem is that it'll run for about 12 hours or so, and then it seems to hang for some reason. So I'm hoping that they're going to be doing something. So anyway, this is a question from Kyra saying the first thing I do is reprint the case just to get rid of the branding. So the good news is that Seed has produced a link to that case. So you can download that and easily 3D print that, or you could modify the case. I like the idea of modifying and to be able to do some changes just to have it clean. I forgot where I got it then, but I'm sure I can find the invoice or look back whenever, but I don't need the vanity labels in my face. What I'm really wanting though is a touch layer on the ePaper screen, along with partial refreshes so we don't need buttons at all to interact with. Also, move the USB to the middle of the back so we can wall mount it over a hole in the wall and not have visible wires flapping around in the breeze. The frame would be even larger if we had to mod it to cover the wires. Having it last a few months between charges is great, but pulling it off the wall now and then to recharge would be yet another chore and possibly a surprise. I currently have an Android tablet wired through the wall to USB power brick that's plugged into a socket and told to switch on and off to keep the charge between 20 and 80%. I do the same with and wouldn't want to have to rewire anything at all, which is nice. I assume it reports the battery charge as well. ePaper could potentially provide a much nicer display than a tablet for a dashboard, maybe with a custom wood frame surrounding mounted to the printed case so it looks like a picture frame or whatever. I'm looking forward to future devices much like this but better. The closest competitor to this, as far as I know, is Terminal. Yes, I've actually seen that just this morning. I looked at that TRMNL. I've just had one of those and it's cool and all. It's just not suitable for interactive HA dashboard yet, but I'm sure the tech will get there fast. After the patents expire, we'll be flooded with ePaper panel innovations. I use mine for alerts. This thing is down and the thing is on USB power. That other thing will need a new battery soon, etc. And just for weather and calendar when there's nothing to highlight. It's not on the wall and just on top up now and then when I remember. Yep, totally. So I agree with you totally, Kara. The use of ePaper is just amazing. I personally really prefer it when you've got that sort of slow refresh rate that they do, and it's just really kind on the eyes. So I think these ePaper screens are absolutely awesome. And yes, if we could get some sort of a touch screen that we could put on front of it, that would be absolutely awesome. Now, welcome, Trevor from Apollo. You are the man. You guys are always coming on my live streams. It is just fantastic. Yep, back streaming today, Trevor. I love streaming. It is just such a fun way of connecting with the community, and it's always just so awesome to see who is out there and who wants to chat. Just, I love the fact that I don't even have to announce it. I just go live and people pop on. It's absolutely awesome. So yeah, Trevor, we're just talking about ePaper as well. I know you guys have got as one of your suggestions on your, I think it's a really cool idea, guys. I don't know if anyone out there, how many of you guys know the guys from Apollo Automations, but they're a regular guest on my live streams. And these guys are doing some amazing things. And yeah, ePaper, they've got this list of ideas for future products. So people can go in there and they can tick what would be their favorite next product from Apollo. And I know that an ePaper display is one of the products that you're looking at manufacturing in the future. So yeah, based on the interest in the video that I've just done on the Seed one, it looks like there's a lot of interest in there. So Trevor's saying, loved seeing the recent e-ink video. Great work. Yeah, thank you, Trevor. I just loved playing with that e-ink screen. And for me, the big thing is that we don't have to program the display. We can just create a normal dashboard in Home Assistant using this Puppeteer and it will basically take the screen and create that PDF every 30 seconds and just refresh. But they do need to do something to that add-on. There's something that is going wrong there where it is not, it stops refreshing, or some error, it goes into some error every so often, and then it doesn't update. So yeah, we just need to. All right, Wayne is saying, have you ever tried to make a Home Assistant panel like a Shelly wall display? I most certainly have, Wayne. If you check out my videos, I've played with the Shelly wall display. Shelly actually has a new wall display that they've just released, which is a double size wall display. They released that at CES 2025, and that looks amazing. It is an absolutely awesome device. What I'm actually using at the moment as a wall display in my kitchen is the Sonoff NS Panel Pro 120. And that's actually working really well. Currently, what I'm displaying on there is my current dashboard, which is bringing in all the weather data from my new. I've just got a new weather station that I've just been started playing with, and that is the EcoWit Now that is a cool weather station. So what I've done, I've taken the EcoWit, which is a local integration into Home Assistant, which is so cool because I don't have to worry about weather underground anymore. So I've taken the data from that. I've created a little screen of that, and I've got that showing both on my ePaper display next to my bed, as well as on my Sonoff NS Panel Pro 120. Fantastic. I just love having weather there and being able to see it all of the time. But yeah, that Shelly wall display, man, that thing was one of my most popular videos recently. It is just a crazy amount of interest in that device. Trevor's saying, yeah, we'd love to make one real soon. We'd love to do a battery-powered, like the picture frame product, so you could hang on the wall and see updates. Yep, totally. I think that is such a cool idea. And the beauty about the battery power with the e-ink is that you can get sort of 3 months on a battery, especially if you're doing a slow refresh, every 6 hours or every 12 hours or whatever. And if you're not reporting critical information, calendar for the day or whatever you're showing, it's absolutely perfect. So I would be really impressed to see that. Yeah, I can't wait to see where e-ink is going to go. I think there's some great opportunities for it. It's a really, really cool. Yeah, that was the largest hurdle. The programming can be quite complex. I didn't know about that tool until your video, and that sparked wanting to me make e-ink. Yes, Trevor, that Puppeteer, man, I have never heard of it before either. I'm assuming it's relatively new because I hadn't heard of it before. And yeah, it's fantastic. The concept is just absolutely perfect. Means we can do our drag and drop screens now with our new displays. We can just then port that over, do our screenshot, and we can pull that into any sort of screen. So yeah, I look forward to more and more use of this Puppeteer. Once they get it totally stable, I think it is going to be just one of the best things, because that was the big problem that I had with screen development. It's great, these screens that have got, for example, like the Sonoff or the Shelly, where it's just basically displaying your web page. That works well. But when you want to do it on ESP32, not an Android device, it's just super complex, man. The programming to try and get a screen, and then every time you want to change it, you got to go and change up all that YAML code. Just way too much hassle. For someone like me, I just wouldn't be bothered to do it. So yeah, I think Puppeteer, that is just fantastic. Let's look forward to it. We can't get that one in the US. Yeah, I know, Wayne. At the moment, it's only 220 volts. Yep, I know. That is a bit of a shame, but I did see an interview with one of the team from, it was at CES 2025, and it was an interview with one of the team from Shelly, and he definitely confirmed that they are working on a 110 volt version for you guys in the States. So I'm pretty sure Shelly will be launching that pretty soon. All right, awesome. Let's get on to the next comment here. So this comment was from Donald Hodek. This was 4 hours ago, And he is saying that he has a Zigbee door sensor in his mailbox. Oh, we've talked about that one. We've been through that one. Okay. Door GGG85. This was 8 hours ago. Thanks for the information. I started using Home Assistant last month. I've also had a 7,500 litre water tank, which I like to know the water level of. The range I need is about 3 meters, but I need about 15 meters of cable to a dry environment where I can safely store the Shelly board. Would it be problem to extend the cable, or would I need to buy a sensor which would be long enough cable, 15 meters, which then automatically results in a 15-meter range also? Is there any coding needed for the Shelly Uni, or can everything be set up with the Shelly app? All right, so to give you guys some feedback of this comment was posted on the second video that I ever created, almost 3 years ago now. And this is a video that I created about a water tank level detection sensor. So at the time I was living out in Beachlands and we had no city water. So we had these big 22,000 litre concrete tanks under the ground, and you didn't want to be running out of water at the last minute and you couldn't order in the tank in time. So I bought the sensor off AliExpress. It's a stainless steel sensor on a long cable. You drop it down to the bottom of the water. The water pressure basically compresses the sensor and it creates a voltage. I then connected the voltage to a Shelly Uni. Shelly Uni is a great little device, and that then reported back to Home Assistant where I created a gauge and it showed me how much water I had. Now, the question that is being asked here is, when you order these sensors, you've got a couple of different options that you can talk about. The first one is the level of the water that is measured. So when you order these sensors, they come in a 3 meter, a 10 meter, a 15 meter, or whatever. What that is meaning is the meters from the bottom of the level of the water to the top level of the water. So if you buy one that's designed for a 3 meter tank, it will provide, say, 1.5 volts if there's 3 meters of water in the tank, and say 0.5 volts if there's 0 water in the tank. So you've got to use that difference in voltage as showing difference in the water in the tank. Beauty about these sensors is they're made of stainless steel. I pulled one out 2 years later. It was absolutely perfect. It had no rust on it, nothing at all. They are super, super cool devices. Now, the question about whether it needs to be in a dry zone. Now, one of the beauties about that Shelly Uni is that the board has actually been sprayed with a special waterproofing type of spray. So it can be in a really damp environment and it will not actually have any problems. Obviously, you need to power it as well. So yeah, what I've recommended, I don't know how far the cable is that you can run from the actual sensor. There would be a limit. I think they come standard with maybe a 5 meter cable or an 8 meter cable. 15 meters is probably a bit long, and you might start getting losses over the cable, which would cause issues. So if it was me, I would build a little waterproof casing, buy one of those waterproof casings that you can get. I would run your 110 or your 210 volts, 110 or 220 volts into the box there, convert it, power the Shelly Uni and everything in the box, and then just have the cable running down. That's the way I would do it. The Wi-Fi signal on those Shelly Unis is pretty good because they have an external antenna. So that's just the way that I would set it up. But yeah, there's a couple of things. The other thing to bear in mind when you order those sensors is you get a voltage one and an amperage one. Ideally, you want to use the voltage one. Otherwise, you have to use a resistor to convert the amperage over to volts. So it's a real fun little project. I had a lot of fun doing it. I don't have any water tanks where I am now. So yeah, I've stopped playing with it. But it's a cool project. A lot of people are enjoying that project. All right. Tom is saying, good morning. Good morning, Tom. Tom is saying, also enjoyed the ePaper video. Glad to see you got the dashboard displays working. We'll probably get one out of beta. Yeah, good idea, Tom. I actually, when I first recorded the video, I was so excited by this ePaper screen. It's just funny. There's certain new products that release that I just get so excited that I forgot to even mention there was a beta. And when the next day I found that the device had stopped, the Puppeteer wasn't reporting properly, I just re-recorded the end, just reminding people that it was a beta version of both the Puppeteer and also of the e-ink display. I think the e-paper display you're probably pretty safe with, because the display itself and the ESP32, I mean, those are standard components. The software is going to get upgraded over time. It's just ESP Home software. And the Puppeteer, I'm assuming, will be upgraded because that's an add-on. But yeah, do be aware that it is in beta. All right. Welcome, Eli. Eli's a regular, or Ellie, sorry, is a regular listener to my live streams. Welcome. He says, love your videos, but nice South African term there, meaning brother. Welcome. Great to hear that term, but I enjoy that. Okay. So next up, Tom is saying, been working, welcome, Tom, by the way. Tom is saying, been working on integrating another Tom. So I've got Tom and, oh no, it's the same Tom. Yeah. Shows me on there, Tom and then Tom Smith. Been working on integrating a Victron Connect 12 volt car battery. Oh, come back. 12 volt car battery charger into a Sonoff POW Elite. So I can monitor the Bluetooth data on state of charge, also controlling off-peak charging on batteries. Yes, Sonoff POWs are very, very cool. So Sonoff POWs, if no one knows what they are, it's a, I think POW it's the power monitoring system from Sonoff. So what it is a little power clamp that you clamp around a cable running AC power. And it can do DC as well, I think. Yeah, should be DC. You clamp it around one of the wires. You can't clamp it around both. So if you've got two wires, you do need to split them. And then the little device is Wi-Fi, connects to your router, and it basically sends back your power consumption. I've been running these Shelly POWs in my house now for over a year. Man, they're just bulletproof. They never disconnect. They tell me exactly how much power I'm using, and I just love the POWs. I saw them on special the other day. I think they were 20 New Zealand dollars each. Man, so cost effective. Sonoff gear, very, very cool. I do certainly enjoy everything that I've been testing from Sonoff. They've got some cool new devices coming up soon as well. All right. We've got another comment here from Patrick. Patrick Albury 8901. Thanks for another great video. Can you please provide more information on the Puppet add-on? Cool. So Puppet add-on, I'm going to have a look at the Puppet add-on. So I'm just going to switch you guys over now. My Stream Deck, for some reason, not switching. So I'm going to have to do a bit of a manual switching of you over. So I'm going to go over to that screen over there, and then I'm going to open up this one. Right. So this is the little dashboard that I was talking about that I created. There you can see I'm using the weather. This is a little download off Hex. It's quite cool. Gives you date and time plus weather over the next 5 days. And this is the little screen that I created just reporting from my weather station. Now, if we go into the Puppeteer, we go settings and add-ons. And here it is, Mr. Puppet. All right, so Puppet version 1.15 change log. So we might get some information from there. We'll have a check there. Turn dashboards into nice pictures. Visit the Puppet page for more details. Okay. Experimentally to easily create screenshots of your dashboards using Puppeteer, allowing you to put them on e-ink screens or any other screen that can display images. You'll need to create a long-lived access token and add it as an add-on option. This is a protocol. There's no security. Anyone can access the server and make screenshots of any Home Assistant page, so beware. All right. Starting the add-on will launch a new server on port 10,000. Any path you request will return a screenshot of that page. You'll need to specify the viewport size you want. For example, 1,000 pics times 1,000 pics, screenshot of your default dashboard. Yes, so this is the default that it gives, which is of your default Lovelace page. This 1000 by 1000 for the e-ink display I was using, it was 800 by 840, so I'll just change it for that. To reduce the color palette for e-ink displays, you can add the e-ink parameter. The value represents the number of colors, including black, to use. For example, a 2-color e-ink display would be ink equals 2. Okay, so the ones that we're using here are only 2, so you want the e-ink 2. That would probably display. If you're using e-ink 2, you can also invert the colors by adding the invert parameter. Yeah, so that's quite cool. With the e-ink, you can either have it as black on white or white on black. By default, on a cold start, the server will wait for 2.5 extra seconds after the loading is considered done to give things that are not tracked by loading spinners to load, e.g. icon and pictures. When the browser is active, it waits 750 milliseconds. You can control this time by adding a wait parameter. For example, wait for 10 seconds. You can control the zoom level of the page using the zoom query parameter. By default, the output format is PNG. You can change this to bitmap. By default, the output, you can also change it to JPEG or WebP. If the e-ink parameter is specified, the output will always be PNG. Okay. Speed. This add-on is slow. On a Home Assistant green on cold start, it takes almost 10 seconds. Browser is collapsed for up to 30 seconds. If the same page is requested, a screenshot is returned as fast as possible. Yeah, so interesting. So mine is running. I wonder if it's got anything to do with the hardware. Be interesting maybe to run it on a different hardware platform. See if that makes any difference, if it's not crashing. Let's just see if we get anything. Change log. Can we copy? Okay, no change log found. All right. So yeah, that seems to be it on what I can find here for the Puppet. Not finding any further information. But yeah. So anyway, e-ink displays, Puppet, very cool. And I am looking forward to see how that project is going to develop in the future. All right. Let's see if we've got any more comments that we can have a look at over here. Okay, so we've talked about the water one. We've talked about the screen. What else have we talked about? Okay, then I had another product that I was playing with. Once again, with the little Third Reality products, they have got a gateway. So Third Reality is all Zigbee. They're all Zigbee and they work really well with Home Assistant. However, if you're using, for example, HomeKit and not Home Assistant, HomeKit doesn't easily pull Zigbee into HomeKit. So you need to have Matter or Wi-Fi. So the beauty about it is that Third Reality has a little hub. Now that hub basically has got Zigbee and it also communicates via Matter. So this little hub is quite cool. So the question here, this nobody NE mock was asking, is does it mean that I can simply add all my Zigbee sensors I'm using now to this Matter gateway and make them fully functional in Apple HomeKit and then use them through the gateway in Home Assistant 2? That sounds too good to be true. I know. And it is too good to be true. I even watched a video this morning from Shane Watley. I think he's big on HomeKit, and he was saying exactly the same thing. He's been playing with this, and it's porting these Zigbee sensors. And the beauty of this little device is I was able to connect Sonoff Zigbee devices to this as well. So yeah, cool device from Third Reality. I've got another cool device that's coming from Third Reality, Trevor, that you guys at Apollo will be interested in as well, because this is another device that you guys are playing with, which is a plant watering pump. So they've just sent me their little plant watering pump. It's a new product that they've released, and I'm going to be testing that with my Apollo and other water sensors or soil moisture sensors. I've been really dying to have a water pump so that I can fully automate my pot plants inside of my house. So that's on the way to me at the moment from Third Reality. But you'll be hooking that up with all the different soil moisture sensors that I've got. I've got soil moisture from Apollo, of course. I've got from Third Reality, and I've got some from Mia, whatever they're called, Xiaomi, I think. So I've got 3 plant moisture sensors, and I've got this device that I'm going to start using to pump. So that's going to be pretty cool to see. So what we're going to do now is just have a run through a few more comments on my video. So I'm going to switch it over again to the demo page there, and I'm going to go over to YouTube, and we're going to have a look at let's just go to my channel, and let's see over here if we can find any more comments that we can talk to. I think this is quite cool, reading through some of the comments and having a chat with you guys about them. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this was an interesting one. Well, this is a comment from CyberMod Studio 9380. Hi Simon, I checked the Eve motion blinds does not provide over-the-air package for 3.5.1. Which channel HA Apple Home did you, let's just see, which channel, let's move that along there. Which channel HA did you use to detect and update? Okay, so what CyberMod is talking about here is I recently done a video on a Eve motion blind. This is a Matter over Thread smart blind that I'm using within my home, and this is communicating. Now what I've done at the moment is Matter. I'm not sure what you guys are thinking about Matter at the moment. For me, Matter has been working reasonably well. I temper it because you never know what will happen with Matter, but I've got some really cool Matter over Wi-Fi devices that are running perfectly for me. They're working perfectly. What I have had a challenge with up to now is getting Matter over Thread working. Matter over Thread for me, for some reason, is being very, very difficult. I don't know why, but Matter over Thread within Home Assistant is being difficult. Matter over Thread in Home Assistant, for some reason or other, will just not work. So the way that I've got Matter over Thread working in my home at the moment is I'm using an Apple HomePod Mini. I'm connecting those Smart Matter Wi-Fi blinds, Smart Matter Thread blinds, onto my Apple HomeKit, and then I'm sharing them from there over to Home Assistant. And once they shared, they are working absolutely perfect, but it would be great to get them working properly. Okay. So Trevor is saying, great, excited to see the video. Yeah, me too. Haven't received that product yet, but it is in the mail on the way to me at the moment. And yeah, it'll be a great one. I will be, talking about that. And I'm excited to see when you guys bring yours out at some stage. I know you've been super busy, Trevor. Obviously, lots of changes going on at Apollo at the moment with your approved by Home Assistant now. It's good news, but you guys must be just so crazy. All right. So let's see what other comments we've got over here. Mike, shipping or import fees. Here we go. Let's see what Mike is saying. I would love to get a bunch of Apollo sensors, but the prices to Canada are not good. Okay, so Trevor is answering, Mike, shipping or import fees. Okay, so Mike is saying the conversion is high, and also he's getting import fees. Okay, yeah, I have heard from a lot of people in Canada that, yeah, it's quite expensive to get electronic devices into Canada. So yeah, I can totally understand your frustrations there, Mike. Um, Kevin Wumb Wumsgans. Welcome, Kevin. I couldn't quite say that. All right. Better than using a tablet. No battery to go bad. No fixed Android version. No fixed display size. Yeah, totally. I agree, Kevin. I'm a bit over using tablets. I've got an Apple. I'm using an Apple, just an Apple tablet at the moment, and yeah, it's painful. You've got the charging issues. They don't like to be permanently connected. Yeah, they don't like to be permanently connected to power, and it is a bit of a mission. And also, just using tablets on the wall, it's a bit painful. I really like the e-ink displays, the e-papers. They are just, it's just a whole nother look and feel. It's a fantastic thing, and I'm really excited. I think it is a great future for displaying information without being too bright and sort of, we're looking at screens all day long. I don't really want to have my walls plastered with screens, but when they e-ink, it almost looks like a paper, a picture on the wall. It literally does. I saw some of the original e-ink stuff that has been put up in the way of just pictures on the wall, and it looks super cool. I think e-ink is honestly the future of wall displays for me. I'm with you guys 100%. All right. So Trevor's saying we do ship from inside Canada, so you'll skip the import fee, but can't help much with the conversion, unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, everything is getting more expensive these days, isn't it? It's a challenge out there. It's, yeah, unfortunately, cheap electronics and cheap smart home stuff is, yeah, unfortunately, it's just, yeah, days of cheap things are unfortunately not with us anymore. One way around that, build your own custom sensors. I've had a huge amount of fun building my own stuff, but it is certainly not for the faint-hearted, and you can have a lot of failures as well. But yeah, since I've got a 3D printer and ESP Home and ESP32s, man, they are my friend. I can tell you that. But yeah, let us see. All right, Kevin. Check my earlier post on creating my own Android version of a touch display. Let's go up. Kevin, are you talking about no battery to go bad? Kevin. Here we go. This one here, was it, Kevin? I created my Android touch display by installing Android 14 on a Raspberry Pi 5. Install Home Assistant companion app. Can use any size display. Currently using 21-inch display. Used to use Android tablet. Okay, just read that again. So you've got an Android touch display by installing Android 14 on a Raspberry Pi. Oh my goodness. I didn't even realize that you can install Android on a Raspberry Pi. That sounds pretty cool. Yeah, that's a cool idea, Kevin. Yeah, great idea. I think, yeah, if you can get away from a normal, if you can use the screen, and I've seen some really cool screens as well, or ideas where people have taken screens, old laptop screens you can literally get for nothing. People are chucking these things away, and then they've run them with other things. And yeah, I think there's some really good opportunity with all these new challenges with cost of stuff. I think it's a great idea to start reusing some of the e-waste that's sitting out there and building your own devices. All right. So Kevin is saying, I've created, okay, you've posted that again. Okay, cool. We've read that out. Mike is saying, I'm going to try getting some and maybe bite the bullet. Yeah, Mike, sometimes you just have to do that. Just bite the bullet and order stuff. I know I've been on a week's leave this week, and sitting at home on leave is a problem when it comes to AliExpress and buying stuff. Yeah, it's so easy to just click and buy stuff, isn't it? When you're sitting at home, I've been buying some really cool stuff. One of the projects I'm doing at the moment, I'm building up a retro hi-fi system, and I recently did a video on the Weem Ultra. That is a really cool Weem streaming system, and I've got it connected to Music Assistant in Home Assistant. And this is the way that I'm now streaming all my music through there. And I bought a subwoofer, a nice home theater subwoofer for $50. It's about 25 US dollars. It's a KEF. It's got a 15-inch sub in it. The amp on the back is blown. So I bought this and I ordered a plate amp off AliExpress. Really good, nice build, great feedback. Well, we'll see when it arrives if it's great, but certainly a lot of good feedback for $100 US. So that's another project I'm going to be playing with and testing that out and using that with Music Assistant. All right. Mike is saying, in terms of displays, I use Android tablets around the house, but not necessarily for lights, etc. I use a lot of calendar and other integrations to tell me when things need to be done, reminders, etc. Yeah, I would agree with you, Mike. The idea of pushing buttons and that on displays on tablets is probably not the best usage, but yeah, certainly just having information available. I'm loving it for my weather, and I think certainly for calendar, I do like the idea of calendar. I think I'll work on porting a calendar screen over onto my my e-ink. I'm quite keen to build another one of those ePaper displays as well. I'm just after my first ePaper. I'm sold on ePaper as a product. I think it is just cool. Mike is saying, looking forward to that. I use Music Assistant with Sonos. Yeah, Music Assistant, man, I tell you, people are just loving that Music Assistant. All the videos I've done on that, everyone is just having a fantastic time. It's just such a cool system. It works great. It streams too. So I've got a mixture in my house. I've got the Weem Ultra now, which I love. That is one of my products of 2025, most definitely best products. I've got an old Bose S30. Don't know if any of you have seen that. That is a great speaker. It also integrates straight into Home Assistant, and I can stream to my Bose. I've got the Apple speakers. I've got the Apple TV, the latest version 4K. I'm streaming to that. So yeah, streaming is cool. I will do a video on my little sub build once that amp plate arrives as well, and you will see whether I've been conned out of $100 US for this amp, or whether it is really great product or not. Okay, let's go back and read a few more comments there and see what other interesting things we can have a look at. People that have been commenting on my YouTube videos. All right. Come on. There we go. Let's have a look down here. What else have we got? What other interesting comments? All right. Phil is saying, amazing video. Love the product, but I wondered if Seed are making one with 16 shades of gray. Thank you for your comment, Phil. Now, Phil is a good mate of mine. He lives locally here in Auckland. We had a catch up the other day. It's been really cool catching up with some of the people here in Auckland. And yeah, we're actually going to have a bit of a meet up here next month, doing a bit of a swap. Anyway, so he's talking about Seed making a 16 shades of gray. So the ePaper display that I've used at the moment with the Seed is a single shade. So it's either on or it's off. So you haven't got those multiple gray scales so that you can do better pictures and stuff. So yeah, that would be really great. And then look, the ultimate now is ePaper or e-ink with colors. So yeah, looking forward to seeing the future of these ePaper displays, most certainly. Here's a comment on my recent Third Reality video. Yes, partially open would be great addition to the functionality. So that's about Seed. I mean, Third Reality's got a garage door tilt sensor. So instead of using a reed switch to sense whether the garage door is open or not, it uses a tilt sensor that measures whether the sensor is vertical or horizontal. And he's just saying it'd be great if it could measure somewhere in between the halfway. So yeah, perhaps an accelerometer sensor would be quite cool. Talking about sensors, one of the things that I'm quite keen to play with is the Grove sensors from Seed. So all the new Seed products that come out, for example, like the Voice PE edition, that's got a Seed plug in it. So you can plug a Seed cable in there, and then you can plug onto any of the Seed sensors. So you could plug in a CO2 sensor or whatever you want to add on. So I'm going to order some of these through Seed and start playing with them. I think that that would be a bit of a fun. All right, let's see. What a missed opportunity includes partially tilted. Oh, there we go. What other comments have we got that we can look at here? Let us see. What other comments have we got? Who else do we have? I have a problem with integration saying they need the internet. I'm also using a Raspberry Pi 3 that is connected to my router via Ethernet. What else do I need to see the internet is connected? Can you help me, please? Yeah, so that's an interesting one. Obviously, most of us that are using Home Assistant, we do love our local devices, don't we? We all love locally controlled devices. Unfortunately, like with the Yolink, sometimes we actually have to accept, well, it's a good sensor and yeah, it's cloud connected, but perhaps we trust the supplier. They've been around for a long time. Talking about Yolink, I did see a post that they had released a local control version, but the hub was like $200. That's expensive. So yeah, who knows? But anyway, let's get back to some of the comments here. Got a comment here from Kevin. I tend to use my touch displays for calendar, checking status of the house, checking temps in the house, turning off and on sprinkler systems, checking outdoors or doors and windows are locked or shut, turning lights and fans left on. Yeah, that is really cool. I think displays are good for alerting us to things that perhaps we need to just have a glance at a display and see, yeah, have we left something open, or have we, what is the temperature? For me, weather is a super cool thing for a display. I just think weather is something that I love. I'm crazy about weather stations. Yeah, they just. Mike is saying, Trevor, are there plans to make garage door sensors? Mike, good time to be asking that question. I think that if you head over to Apollo, you will see that it looks like they have just released their garage door sensor. Although, no, that's actually not a garage door sensor. That is a garage sensor. Sorry, it's not the garage door. It's a sensor to measure how close your car is. I think when you drive up to the garage, it measures how close the car is to the door. So yeah, I see that that's been released. Hopefully I'll get hold of one of those at some stage and give it a bash. It would be really awesome to see. Another question here from Kim Schubert. Welcome, Kim. Basic question. Literally paying with Shelly One Plus for the first time. Can I control via browser over local Wi-Fi, but it fails to connect to the Shelly app iOS? Okay, let me just drill down into your question here, Kim. So first of all, Shelly is awesome. They were one of the first devices I ever got, and Shelly is producing fantastic devices. They are just amazing. So welcome to the world of Shelly. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of fun with Shelly. Shelly One Plus, yeah. Have you got the 4th gen? 4th gen is, they're just updating the whole time. They are so easy to connect now via the app. So just to answer your question there, so you got your Shelly, great. Can you control it via browser over local Wi-Fi? Yes, you can. You can access, if you get the URL for, or the IP address, sorry, for that Shelly, you can type that into your browser, and then it'll bring up a local control panel that you can control all your Shellys off, most certainly. But it fails to connect to the Shelly app. I'm not sure why you're having problem with connecting to the Shelly app. Perhaps give us a little bit more information. The new way the Shellys connect now, they use Bluetooth to connect. So you do need to make sure that Bluetooth is turned on your phone, on your iPhone when you're connecting. Otherwise, it won't work. Literally, when you plug the Shelly in and you bring the phone locally, it should just connect. If you've got the app open, it prompt you and you should be able to say connect. Have a look at my latest Shelly videos. They do show the whole connection process, and it is pretty quick. All right. Mike is saying, I will check it out either way. Yep, go down to Apollo. Right on, Simon. Still working on the firmware. We'll get one out to you. Fantastic. Thank you, Trevor. I love checking out new devices from Apollo. They've always got something exciting new to release. And I know you guys have been super busy recently. I think, yeah, after your CES and after all the stuff that you guys have got going on, yeah, it's just amazing. Something was asked me the other day, what would be a great business to start? And yeah, based off everyone that I've seen, Apollo guys, some of the other guys on YouTube that are making ESP home devices, man, I reckon if you're wanting to start a good business, yeah, it's a lot of hard work, but I reckon there's a huge opportunity for people to build ESP home devices at the moment. It seems like the home assistant community is just absolutely crazy about being. Look at Home Assistant Preview Edition, sold out. They built more of them than what they thought they would ever sell, and they literally sold out within an hour of going live. Yeah, the other guy, Satellite One, he's literally sold all of his devices. Yep, I reckon it's a good business model, man. Locally controlled ESP home automation devices seem to be the way to go. All right, let's head back and see if we've got some more interesting questions to check out. Let me just switch back here and go back to the channel and see what else what other interesting questions we have here in the comments. Okay, let us scroll down a bit and see what other interesting comments we have. All right. Let us see. Okay, we don't want negative comments. We only want positive comments. Let's have a look here. Okay, here's a comment about Shelly. I did get one working with Meta. First, I got it working with Wi-Fi without Meta. Okay, so this is an interesting one. So the new Shelly one, or all the new Shellys, are now the ones that have just come out, the Gen 4, they have Meta. But when I was testing it, I couldn't get Meta to work. So Just Vodka is commenting on getting his working. He says, first I got it working with Wi-Fi without Meta. Meta pairing did not work. Also no option on the internet web interface. Then I pressed the button for 10 seconds. It went into pairing mode, but apparently it's still connected to Wi-Fi. Went to the internet web interface and went to the Meta page. Then I got prompted that the device needed to be rebooted. It did. When it came back, I went to the Meta page in the internal interface. When I scanned the QR code with HomeKit, it paired and it works. So now I have it in Home Assistant with the Shelly integration and HomeKit via Meta. Haven't bothered to look how to reproduce this since I got what I wanted. Fantastic, Just Vodka. So yeah, a bit of fiddling around and it does connect to Meta. So that's great. I knew there must be a way, but I'm not always that patient and I didn't quite get there. So good for you, and thanks for giving us the feedback and telling us how you did it. All right, let's have a look. I like this idea of running through some comments on my channel. It's really great getting comments and feedback from everyone. Okay, so here's Jitesh Jagatia 9027. In the UK, our traditional PIR sensors, I believe, are 4-core wires, maybe the same elsewhere too. I guess 2 of the wires, black and red, are for the 12 volt. What is he saying? What about the remaining 2 wires? How would they connect to the board? That's where I'm getting confused. Thanks in advance. Okay, so this question is about this little guy. So this little guy is a we won't play the video now. This little guy is a board. Here it is over here. These boards are, oh, it'll help if I switch you guys back so you can see my screen. We will just switch you back there and you should be able to see me again. All right. What's going on here? Just find you guys here. All right. So this little board over here, this is quite a cool ESP Home board. This board it's got an ESP chip on it. I think it's a C3 or something like that. And it's got all of these optos over here. So these are not relays, but they are opto switches. So you've got 16 inputs, 16 outputs. So what I suggested would be a great use of this product would be to use this as a replacement for an old alarm panel. These are quite cheap. They're about between 30 and 60 US dollars, which I think is pretty good value for this device. So all you would do when you're connecting your existing door and window sensors or your PIR sensors is you'd connect the PIR. The 2 of them would go to the 12 volts if that's what it operates on. And the other 2, you would just connect the wires in here to close the inward sensor, and that would close the sensor in Home Assistant, and you could add that to Alarmo. All right, let's go back to the comments. Okay. Oh, it said I've got new comments, but I'm not seeing any new comments. That's a bit odd. Not sure what's going on here. I've got so much going on my screen. I am getting a bit lost here. It could be because I have not switched you guys over to their one. That's why it's not working. That's better. Now I can see. All right. Have we got any further comments? No further comments. All right. So guys, I think I've had a great time with you this morning or this afternoon or the evening or whatever time it is where you are. I've had some great fun doing this live stream. Again, let me know what you guys think. Was this a good idea to read through some of the comments on my video and answer the questions? Was that a good idea for a video? Would you like me to do this again? Feel free, give me any other comments of what you think are good ideas for live streams. I see a lot of people doing live streams, all different sort of things. I love live streaming. I think it's the best ever way of getting together with my community, getting you guys giving me feedback. I enjoy it so much. It's great. We've got our usual people that come on every time, and it's great to have you all here. I just wanted to shout out quickly before you go, because there's some special people that are members of my channel, and I just thought it'd be really great to give you guys a bit of a feedback. So we'll just go over here and I'll just quickly grab a big shout out. Let me just move this over here. So I just wanted to have a quick shout out before I finish this live stream. One of my long-term members is Johnny Bergdahl. Thanks, Johnny. You've been a fantastic channel member. You are my first and my longest channel member. Big supporter, really appreciate it. Some of my other channels at the members at the moment, Nathan Boatwright, awesome, and Iago Medeiros. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Anyone else that wants to join my channel as a member, it's fantastic to have these guys. They literally giving me money every month just to be a part of my team, and that is fantastic. I really enjoy it. I don't expect it from you guys. Just being subscribed and coming online and giving me comments is fantastic. But it really makes me feel amazing that some people are willing to actually join my channel. All right. So Mike is saying, great stream. Thanks all. Only a pleasure. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for being on board. And Apollo is saying, yeah, like seeing the comments. Many people have the same questions, so it's nice to go through them. Great stream. Keep it up. Thank you, Trevor. Yeah, I actually saw it from another one of my favorite YouTube channels, Darko Audio. Um, he's a big, really cool audio review guy. He had the idea of creating shorts answering questions, but I thought a live stream would be awesome. Yeah, I can just learn so much from watching other people on YouTube. So thank you again, everyone. It's been fantastic catching up with you. Have a great week. And yeah, lots more videos coming. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.